Good evening, I'm Ann Nyberg.
And I'm Darren Kramer. The mess has taken officials more than 8 hours to clean up, and finally there is some relief for drivers tonight.
Officials just reopened both sides of I-91. A tanker truck rolled over around 1 this afternoon between exits 12 and 13, spilling fuel all over the highway. News 8's Sarah Welch is live tonight in North Haven. Sarah.
And as you mentioned, all lanes here in North Haven have reopened. The northbound side opened just moments ago, 9 hours after the tanker crash. You can imagine it's a huge relief for drivers who were stuck in traffic. Hours after the crash, flashing lights still surround the tanker truck leaking gasoline as frustrated drivers backed up along I-91 deal with the traffic nightmare.
Very frustrating. A lot of people pulling off and going down the median and trying to turn around, and it's very wet and muddy down there, so I'm sure people are going to get stuck.
Just before 1, police say a woman driving a sedan veered into the path of a fuel truck carrying some 8,800 gallons of gasoline.
A car appears to have lost control, cut in front of the tractor trailer. The tractor trailer attempted to take evasive action. That driver lost control, rolled the tractor trailer over into the center median.
Firefighters poured foam on the scene to avoid a potentially explosive situation.
We had a pretty good-sized leak coming from one of the top manifolds of the tank. Obviously, we used a lot of foam in suppressing the vapors. Our biggest concern is suppressing vapors so that we don't find an ignition source.
While the trucker and the woman and her passenger suffered minor injuries, the crash was a major headache for drivers. I-91 was shut down in both directions between exits 12 and 13 during the evening commute. Daylight turned to nighttime, the highway into a parking lot. It was an ugly ride home.
I was there for 2 hours. I was just coming from Meriden.
You almost ran out of gas?
Yeah, I had a half a tank when I left, and by the time I got here, my light was on.
Crews had to offload the gasoline to another vehicle before they could tow the damaged truck away. It's unclear yet how much gas spilled, but the North Haven fire chief knows one thing.
We got really lucky today. We got lucky in the fact that we didn't catch an ignition source.
Yes, they got very lucky. Tonight there are still some residual delays, but again, all lanes of I-91 are reopened here in North Haven. We've also learned tonight that the truck is owned by Liquid Transport out of Cheshire, and we did speak with a representative of the company. They tell us they are so grateful that no one was seriously hurt, and they also say their truck driver did an excellent job maneuvering the truck under the circumstances because this situation could have been so much worse. On the scene in North Haven, Sarah Welch, News 8.